Imagine paying $40,000 a year to never attend a single lecture. The world's most elite minds don't use Pomodoro timers, they don't use fancy apps, and they definitely don't study 12 hours a day. In fact, an Oxford student spends less time in a classroom than a high schooler, yet this 800-year-old institution produces more power and Nobel Prizes than almost anywhere else on Earth. The secret isn't a productivity hack. It's a brutal, psychological pressure cooker called the essay crisis, a system designed to break your brain, only to rebuild it 10 times faster. Today, we are dissecting the clinical machinery of the Oxford method and why your way of learning is officially obsolete. In most universities, you are a ghost. You sit in a hall with 300 people, highlight a textbook, and hope the information sticks. Oxford realizes this is a total waste of human potential. They use the tutorial system, a one-on-one intellectual interrogation. Picture sitting in a room with the world's leading expert on a topic. There is no podium. There is no PowerPoint. There is only you, your thoughts, and a professor who is paid to find every single hole in your logic. But here is the terrifying part. This 60-minute interrogation is exactly why they learn, in 1 hour, what takes everyone else a month. This isn't teaching, it's active defense. At Oxford, you don't just learn a fact, you have to fight for it. When you're forced to defend an idea out loud against a genius, your brain undergoes a massive rewiring process. Cognitive scientists call this elaborative interrogation. Most students store information in short-term folders that disappear after the exam. But when you are under social pressure to explain why, those folders are permanently burned into your long-term memory. But how do they handle this extreme pressure every single week without their brains completely shutting down? The answer lies in the essay crisis. Every 7 days, an Oxford student is handed a reading list of 10 massive books and told to produce a high-level 2,000-word analysis. It is an impossible deadline. This forces the brain into a state of high-intensity information filtering. They don't read every page. They learn to hunt for the signal and ignore the noise. They aren't becoming faster readers. They are becoming faster thinkers who can strip a complex subject down to its skeleton in hours. If you think this sounds like a nightmare, wait until you hear the 2 Sigma secret that proves these students aren't just born smarter. In 1984, a massive study proved that one-on-one tutoring makes the average student perform better than 98% of the rest of the world. Oxford has simply scaled this cheat code. They've turned learning from a passive chore into a high-stakes social game. When your social status and your weekly meetings depend on your intellect, your brain stops being lazy. It switches from storage mode to attack mode. This is why Oxford doesn't produce students, it produces masters. But here is the real question. Can you actually steal this 800-year-old system and use it in your own life tonight? You don't need a tuxedo or a library in England to do this. You need to stop studying and start interrogating. Stop reading books to finish them. Start reading books to find flaws in them. Explain what you learned to a friend, or even a recorded camera, and pretend they are trying to prove you wrong. This social pressure loop is the engine of the Oxford method. It forces your brain to stop being a spectator and start being a player. But there is one final, invisible reason why these students never seem to lose their motivation to learn. It's the collegiate effect. Oxford students don't just go to class together, they live, eat and sleep in the same buildings. At dinner, a physicist is sitting next to a philosopher. This cross-pollination means they are learning through osmosis 24/7. Their environment does the heavy lifting. You are the average of the 5 people you spend time with. At Oxford, those 5 people are usually obsessed with deep mastery. The Oxford method proves that your brain isn't slow, your system is. Stop hiding in the back of the lecture hall. Stop relying on apps that do the work for you. Put yourself in the pressure cooker. Demand to be challenged. Because the fastest way to learn isn't by taking notes, it's by surviving the interrogation. The world's elite don't work harder. They just build a world where failure to learn is impossible. It's time you did the same.